I'm glad it didn't go that far. I'm so glad episode 6 of Oshinoko did not go that far. Oof, oof. It's an unfortunate thing that no matter how many years we've had the internet, this is still a thing. Cyberbullying is still a thing. And it sucks that you can technically say that there's a scale on how it affects other people as much as other. Because I've been on the internet for a long time, and so I'm at the point now where if people throw really nasty things at me, it's just like, shrug, move on. It's been so long that I, in my younger years, were technically doing a lot of that stuff and being nasty online. So I know what it's like, and I know what is going through your mind. The stupid juvenile nature of yourself that sort of takes over, and the blocks that just don't exist on the internet. That's the major problem, is that there's no blocks. And there's also the sense of, yes, people bickering about characters in a show has existed ever since shows have existed. It's just now there's a way of it all funneling to the person. And that's the big key difference. And people don't have those limiters to block them. And I think they did a pretty good job of portraying that in Oshinoko episode 6. Really great episode overall. I felt at times there was a little bit of a pacing issue, but I think it really worked out well. And my only real true criticism was the ED. The ED didn't need to be there, unfortunately. I think it kind of helped bump up the mood a little bit at the very end, just so that you don't leave on a very depressing note, but it kind of ruined the scene quite a bit. It's kind of like the hero shows up, bam, bam, bam. That's kind of the feeling that I got with that ending. Now, there was a side of me very briefly that was like, why is Aqua there? But I understand why he was there. It makes sense. He probably noted that all this hate's happening. He's fully aware, everybody's aware that she's getting a lot of heat. And so it makes sense that he'd probably be watching her. She wasn't responding, so he probably went out to look to see what she's doing, just to make sure that she's okay. Honestly, the entire episode, I was assuming that Aqua was going to come as the knight in shining armor to improve her image, but with the whole thing with the slap and everything, it just all went downhill from there. Early on, I had a feeling this was the direction they were going to go with this character. This character is going to be the essentially socially destroyed character because of some mistake. It kept hinting on the idea that this girl is sitting on the sideline, everybody else is getting the attention, she's barely got any roles, there's so much expectations placed upon her. I think it was a producer or somebody was yelling at her director. There was so much pressure being put upon her to stand out. They got her that spot, and she's doing nothing with it. Despite the fact the entire time, we even see it in the previous episode, the entire time she's sitting there writing down notes. She's spending too much time writing down notes that she's not doing anything with it, I think is the main key thing they were showing. This is a hardworking girl trying very hard, but she just, I think it's going to come down to with Akane, either she's going to have some big, massive shift in her character, or she's not cut out for it. And that's the unfortunate thing. She's not cut out for it in so many different ways. I am jumping all over the place with this video, but hopefully this all comes together well. Akane is the type of character that she likes something, and she strives for it, but it doesn't seem like it's clicking for her. Like, she's got the willpower and the drive to, but she doesn't have that extra step. She doesn't do it. She doesn't apply it well enough, or more so the case that she's not, her hard work isn't something that is manifesting into something that people want to see. That's the problem. She is definitely a character that I can slightly sort of relate to, because I've had a lot of times where I'm trying to push something. I mean, this whole YouTube channel, there might be a time where I realize at some point I could put as much as effort as I want into this YouTube channel, and I can have all the love in the world for anime, but maybe just people don't care for my stuff. People don't like my opinion, or I just don't resonate with people. If you don't create something that captures the audience, it's not necessarily anybody's fault. You can't force people to watch your content. At the same time, you can't expect that your content is going to be loved by everybody, despite the fact that you have a passion for it. And I think that's what she kind of has. She keeps pushing. She studies. It was even showing some point, one of her fans that knew her back when she did this one stage play or something, they're like, I've been watching her for a long time. She's a hard worker. And that was that was obviously the nail in the coffin for her, was the aspect of, I've been working really hard and I'm trying really hard. Why does everybody hate me? And then finally she sees somebody that has recognized that. Recognize not just what she's doing now, recognize what she's done in the past, and recognize that she is a hard worker. She knows she's a hard worker, but now I no longer like her. That was the breaking of that. But yeah, like I said, it really does feel like Akane's character is kind of going in the route, there's a fly in this room. How'd you get in here? I have to get it later. She's the kind of character that is working really hard, but it just doesn't work. And so I'm curious what direction to take her character. Is it going to be simply Aqua puts up this big... It's probably going to go the route of Aqua's going to have some massive scheme to make her look really good as the show's closing out to save her. Or is he going to have some other plans for her? Is she going to herself figure out what works for her and stand out? Or, and I think this is reality, she walks away. You're just, as much as you love it, you're not cut out for it. And what you produce is great, but it's just not what people want. And you have to kind of accept that at some point. But it's probably going to turn out to be Aqua has some sort of scheme, or I don't know, maybe he just completely reworks her, makes her into a new person, and she becomes a part of the idol group. He's recruiting Akane into the idol group, and he's got to completely make her up and make her into a new person. That's probably more the route. We got to make Ruby's group. But no, episode overall, like I said, very depressing. My heart goes out to anybody that has dealt with stuff like this. Again, like I said, I've technically dealt with this kind of stuff, but myself have learned to kind of control it. I've had times where I've slipped up. It was a couple weeks ago. I got really stressed out about a lot of things, and then I got some negativity, and it felt like everything. Like, it felt like, what am I even doing? It's so heartbreaking. Like I said, it's technically something that's always existed in the world, especially of entertainment, and the idea that some character comes on stage, some live performance, and everybody hates it, but it was kept to the people. It never had a way of funneling to the actual actor or actress. Now there is a way. Now if you're an entertainer, you have a way for it to come to you. That's like we were kind of pointing out with Kana was pointing out to Ruby, and this idea that this is a thing now. You can't avoid it. It's easy to say, just shut it off. But from Kana's perspective, she's pointing out the idea of the fandoms and, yes, ego searching. But it's a thing of, you can't just say, well, just don't look at it. Because you can't do that anymore. You have to see what people are saying now. And it sucks that you get put to that. And I think there's something to be said that if you are big enough, you really shouldn't look at it. In my opinion. Like, if I ever got to the point where I was actually doing really, really well, it might become to a point where I just need to have somebody filter it, because it gets to be too much. As soon as you have that, the size of the words is growing, the impact becomes greater. And if you're not a really strong person, you can't accept that. And that's what Memcho kind of points out with Akane. If you're a very earnest person, this stuff is going to hit hard. Like I said, it's almost implying that Akane, unfortunately, this isn't for her. It isn't going to work. I've had that feeling a lot with certain people when I've seen certain content creators that have just melted down over the pressure of social media and stuff. It gets to a point where you're like, I'm sorry to say it, I know you have passion in this, but you have to have it sucks to say this, you have to have thick skin. And it sucks to say that because it's acknowledging that this is going to exist no matter what. Cyberbullying and dogpiling is always going to exist, and it sucks. There's no way around it. It's very unfortunate, and I just don't see any way of it stopping. People don't seem to get it, that their words mean something. And rather than, like, if you do something bad in real life, like you just, like, screw up a performance. Like, say your voice cracked when you were doing that high note, and then you hear a couple chuckles, but then it kind of concludes. And then afterwards, what happens? You might have a couple people come and say, you did your best, and unfortunate, get it next time, whatever, it's all right. Man, you kind of messed up, whatever, But online, those filters that people have socially when they're face-to-face with people is completely gone. And so it kind of just turns into people just blurt out whatever's in their brain. There's a direct connection from brain to finger, and you're typing it, and you don't stop. And a lot of people do this because they're not face-to-face with the person they're talking to. It's that anonymity thing. Now, granted, in Japan, it's much easier for people to find that type of stuff. But overall, it's very difficult. And plus, when you have it in grand scale, you would search down every single person and chase them down? No. It's a major problem with the internet, that people have no filters and they dogpile for clicks. And a lot of it is people searching for that like button. They want people to give them that dopamine effect by hitting their like button because they said something that everybody else went, yeah, get them. It's a nasty world. This is why I've always been a supporter of the idea of just Remove all likes, retweets, and everything. Remove all that stuff, and you'll probably see a lot of people chill out because they're all seeking attention. Every one of them that's saying something nasty is seeking attention. I'm going on a long tirade for this episode. Anyways, that's Akane and the effects of cyberbullying and how it just torments you. I just thought that it hurts. It hurts. It pushed her to the limit. And like I said, that last person that pulled away, that was it. It's all she needed. I'm tired, and she wasn't sleeping. It's just this compounding thing. They did a really good job of kind of showing that downfall of her. Accepting it at first, being like really shocked by it, then not being able to look away, keep on looking at it, figuring it'll go away. It doesn't go away. You can't sleep. It's terrifying you. Well, as soon as it's over, maybe I can stop. Maybe if I say something, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get back into it. Maybe if I say something, maybe if I explain myself, because they didn't show what happened afterwards. Maybe if I explain myself, it'll be better. Like Memcho says, words from somebody who's been there, Memcho says it. The moment she apologized, you don't it's unfortunate you can't apologize, because the moment you apologize, everybody figures, oh, so you're admitting it. Then I could throw stones, right? It's like it makes it worse. And it doesn't make any sense. It honestly does not make, I'm getting into this again. It honestly never makes sense. Why is apologizing suddenly make everything worse? Because that's online. Now, in real life, yes, if you screw up, apologize, everybody hugs, and they move on. It literally happened between Akane and Yuki. Doesn't work online. For some reason, people go, oh, that's an admittance. Time to pile on him. I was right. Everybody look at me as I pile on. Hit the like button for me when I say this terrible thing. It just keeps compounding. The internet is a chamber of just echoes, and it keeps hitting and hitting and hitting and hitting. It's so terrible, and I gotta stop talking about this. And it's unfortunate that it all kind of starts with Akane trying to step out. She screws up. She gets a little emotional, and yeah, she lashed out to Yuki, but Yuki understands it because Yuki knows Akane. I like that it didn't kind of break there. Yuki comforted Akane. Now, there was an element that there was a rivalry there. Yuki did see that Akane was struggling and that she was going to step up, but Yuki's like, but just so you know, I need a center stage too, so I'm not going to let you, but go ahead, you know? Yuki understood Akane's doing the same thing she is. They know each other. They understand each other. But at the same time, she's not going to step down from the stage for Akane. But even then, when things go to worse, scarring her face, that's big for a model. She's still like, it's okay. I understand what you're going through. The cameras are off, so it makes me understand that Yuki, yes, she's probably still putting on facade, which is what Aqua kind of talks about. But she's okay with it. She's her friend. She accepts it. But the odd thing is that somebody showed what happened. It didn't really imply that the show did it. It seemed like the show did it. The show showed that Akane slapped Yuki, which is, my gosh, again, they just wanted the clicks. They just wanted the viewership, so they destroyed Akane's life just to show what happened. It was a mistake, but they still showed it because it got them popularity, and it ruined Akane's life, it's the industry. Again, what's the moral of Oshinoko? That's the industry. They will take that. They will destroy Akane's life in order to get viewership. Somebody attacked Yuki. Get it on camera. Tell everybody. And destroy Akane's life in the process. Not even caring what happens to her. They know she's done. They know this is going to ruin her, but they still show it. But I do like that, again, part of it's probably a facade. Yuki sort of talking her down, telling her it's going to be okay. And still, even later on, reaching out to her, trying to find out if she's okay. But I like how Aqua puts it in the idea that, in normal life, a fight like this, everybody hugs and then, you move on with your life. But that's not the age now. With the internet, everything multiplies. It becomes the end of the world for everybody else that's not even involved that's watching it. And it's kind of crazy because Aqua in this episode sort of has figured out that this style of reality TV show is technically, the way that they're doing it, is technically reality. It's just exaggerated. Like, at the very beginning, when Yuki decides to finally step out and take over the show, pretty much, it was her exaggerating what she was going through. She's like, yeah, technically, I am experiencing some teasing and stuff at school, but in the show, she's saying that she's being bullied over all this stuff and that she's just discovering love and she can't go on. But she's contracted, so she's gonna keep doing it. She's exaggerating things. And Aqua sort of sees that, yes, everybody is sort of being truthful. This is how they really are. It's just exaggerated. Which, sort of plays into this entire episode. Ruby's like, that's good, right? You don't have to act. Everybody's being natural and normal. Now, the love aspect of it, it's wishy-washy, but isn't that a good thing? But Aqua puts something at the very beginning that pretty much sticks to the entire episode. But lying is the best way to protect yourself. And that's what ends up being the downfall of Akane. Because it's not a lie, people take it personally and go right after Akane. Because this whole thing isn't a lie, they can't protect themselves. That's their true self. Wow. I'm looking through my notes and I realize I pretty much just covered the entire episode just ranting about internet and what's went through Akane. It was literally Akane's episode, so it makes sense, but holy crap. Really heavy episode. I like that they managed to pull in Kana and Ruby into the episode with their own thing, but it somehow played into what's going on with Akane. The whole ego searching thing, how everybody does it. It's just a thing now. You have to do it in a lot of cases because it's kind of important metrics, but it played into Akane, which was very interesting. Like I said, I kind of thought that Aqua at some point would kind of save Akane, but then the moment that she slapped Yuki, I'm like, okay, never mind. We're going to go this direction. We're going to go the direction of she hurt the great Yuki. And yeah, it pretty much went that direction. Despite the fact that, again, they wanted to make up, the world didn't want to let it. And it sucks because even if they were to record like several episodes all the way to the end where Yuki becomes Akane's bestest friend, everybody will still hate Akane. They can't let it go. It fuels the people that want controversy and issues. I'm getting into it again. Stop it, Andrew. But no, I was kind of assuming that at some point, because Yuki was involved in this love triangle, Aqua was going to get involved with Akane. It kind of showed that Aqua was sticking with Memcho. Memcho's like, I'm fine with being the airheaded sidekick. I just want followers on my channel. I'm not looking for love. I was kind of assuming that Aqua at some point would break off, sweep Akane off her feet, and just their pairing takes the focus of the show itself. But that might still be the case. That might be what they still end up doing. But I'll be really interested to see how Aqua sort of changes things around the next episode. I'm really excited for it. So I'm just really happy. Like I said, I know reality is reality, but there's some times where you're like, I just don't really want this. Like, I know the show can do this, and I'm fine with the show doing. I'm not fine with it, but I'm fine with writers doing what they want to do with the character. But I just didn't want to see it right now. I just didn't want to see it right now. So I'm really happy that Aqua was stalker cooning Akane. The stalker strikes again. But it goes without saying that if you are facing something similar, some sort of crisis, please reach out to somebody that loves you and that you know loves you. Reach out to somebody, even if it's somebody that doesn't love you, somebody that you know you're neutral with, just reach out to somebody. And then there's a lot of cases where reaching out to somebody that's neutral with you, that's not necessarily your friend, that you just know will listen to you, can sometimes create some really good bonds. But just know that somebody out there cares for you. But that is episode 6 of Oshinoko. I greatly appreciate you guys for dropping by. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure that like button down below. Comment, let me know what you thought of the episode. Additionally, if you're new to this channel, make sure that subscribe button so you got my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions, top lists. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, I have a Patreon link, tips link, super thanks, and membership button down below. I greatly appreciate what it does, and y'all take care.